Okay, in MS CRM we have a four types of workflows. Okay, so that is a system workflows and dialogues and actions and business process flows. Okay, so in
Okay.
the last session we discussed about the system workflows and dialogues. Okay,
Okay.
so now in this session we will discuss about the actions. Okay,
Okay.
so one of the most powerful, useful feature they introduced in CRM 2013 is the actions. Okay, so what is a action? Okay, so action is something like it's a repeatedly we can perform the actions. Okay, so for example, you want to update the one entity, or you want to create a entity record for a particular entity. So those are the actions we can perform in a different from a different plugins or a different workflows and all. Okay, so the actions is something like a reusable methods. Okay, or I can say reusable components. Okay, so it is the actions is strongly supports the concept of XRM platform. Okay, so the actions are the custom messages which can be created for any entity or a globally perform the business process operations like a create, update, assign and more. Okay, so looking for the first time you will get a feel it is a very similar to workflow, but the hold on it is very different to the workflows or plugins. Okay, so it is a similar to workflow, but these actions can be triggered from either from a plugin or either from a JavaScript or either from a custom workflow. Okay, so the below points are the key points. Okay, so by using this one you can be associated with a single entity or a global. Okay, so we can able to create a actions for a single entity or we can able to create a global actions. Okay, so the action supports the arguments like a input and output parameters. Okay, so it can be only called through a web service calls. Okay, so it can be either JavaScript or a plugin or a web service API calls. Okay, so it supports the rollback and the execution in a real time. Okay, so for example, you are in the middle of the some operation you perform to a action, so you got some error, so it will support the rollback. Okay, so always it will runs under the context of the calling user, so these actions always runs under the login user context. Okay, so here we have some arguments. Okay, so before going to arguments, okay, so we can go for the system and where we can able to create it. So for creating a actions we have to go to settings and customizations or in a solution. Okay, so go to the solutions and under the process click on a new process. So here we can select the category as the action. Okay, so this one I just am giving a name like a test action. Okay, so here we can see this one like a you can able to create a action for a particular entity or it is a global. Okay, so for example if I give the action on a account, okay, so this action can be used for only account entity. For example if I give the global action, okay, So you can able to trigger this, you can able to use this action for all the entities. Okay, so it's a global. Okay, so I am creating a action for the global. Okay, click on OK. So here we can see the process name and unique name. Okay, so here the entity you can see. So it is a global level. So this entity here, entity's name. So for example, if you want to enable the rollback, so just check this one. Okay, if you don't want, you can just uncheck. Okay, so we can take it as a process or a process template. Okay, so it is a process means it will be a executable workflow. Okay, so here we can just check the keep the logins that is encoded any errors. Okay, so here we can actually we can create some parameters. So these all are the input parameters. Okay, so for example I am giving a, okay, so just I'm giving a some x. Okay, so this is a data type of this variable. So just I'm giving an integer. So here it is a required or a not required. If it is a required, we have to select this one. So if you don't want, we can uncheck this one. So next I am creating another one, some another variable, some y. It is a integer. So these are the two things I can do it. Okay, so here we can see this is a, similar to the workflow. Okay, here we can see the all the operations. Okay, like a check condition and create a record, all the things we can able to do it. Okay, so here just I'm creating a record. Here which record you want to create it. Okay, so here we can set the properties. Okay, so for example I want to set the account name. What are the arguments you can able to see here, whatever we created, right? So arguments x and by the input parameters we have created here in the arguments. So these are the arguments, what are the arguments we have created, you can able to see here x y. Okay, so if you want to use these arguments, okay, so just you can click on OK, select it and click on OK. So if you click on save and close, okay, so this is a action I have created. So once we created an action, okay, and we have to activate it. So this is a action creation. Okay, so we have created a global level actions. So this is arguments. So these arguments which are the parameters or the variables which can be used while creating the action. Okay, so there are the two kinds of arguments we have. So one is the input arguments, so which is we created. So these are the parameters which needs to be passed during the action call. So whatever we declare the input arguments, so this arguments input we need to pass when you are calling the action through a code. So this can be optional or a mandatory. Okay, so for the mandatory arguments it is necessary to provide the some value while calling the action. Okay, so next one is output parameters. So these are the output parameters which can be returned when the action is called. Okay, so this can be optional or a mandatory to understand in to understand in an easy way. We can compare the action to a function or a method in a normal C# coding. Okay, so next how we can create this parameters and all. Okay, so next thing we how we can call the this actions through a JavaScript code or in a through a plugin. Okay, so here we have to use these three statements. Okay, so for just I will open the through plugin how we can call it. Just I will show it to you. So we have created an action. So these actions can be triggered through either plugin or a JavaScript or a through a web service call. Okay, here just I am placing a calling the action. So this is sample plugin. Okay, here just I am placing calling actions. Okay, so for that this is a one statement. Okay, so here we have to include our assembly. So here this is some assembly it will be there. So here we need to add the assembly. So here some problem with my Visual Studio. So this assemblies is not preferring. I will open it again. So here these three statements, okay. So this by using these three statements only we can able to trigger the action from our code, okay. So here the first I'm creating a action organization request. So here gdsc underscore action, whatever the action we have created, okay. So if you go to the here test action, if you open, and this is here our action name is new underscore test action, okay. Here we have to pass the new underscore test action, okay. So now we have created a parameters, okay, like we have created a x, okay. Here we have to pass the values to that one. So there I have defined the data type is the integer, so I am passing to 100, okay. Like that we have created a some another parameter, input parameter is y, okay. So here the value we have to pass here target, okay. So we have created a actions in a global level, okay. For that we need to pass the target. So if you create a actions on a specific entity, you no need to pass the any target, okay. So next we will executing the service dot execute and request we are executing, okay. So once you done, okay, on the actions, like if you go to the target entity, you can able to see the your action is executed, okay. So that is a actions in the ms crm, okay. So this actions is similar to a common methods, okay. So this is a new features they provided in a crm 2013, okay. And also you can able to call these actions from a javascript also, okay. Same logic we can use it, and here we have to follow some soap method. So here the same logic we have to execute it, okay. So here these all the things like how we can debug and how we can get it the values and all, it is a sample code I have provided, okay. So this is a actions in a ms crm.